So first of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. I won't be making another video until after New Year. So in today's video, I will be talking about the progression, what you should be doing while we're waiting for a new dungeon. Since CPAP has a 1.4 billion HP, and it's a struggle for a lot of players, including myself in the beginning, simply due to the lack of preparation. Now, I don't think we will be getting another new dungeon until February. I think it's a good amount of time for us to prepare, simply because I think the new raid would be somewhere around 2 billion HP. Now, it's not based off other regions. They have different sequence of raid, like they get certain gears before the new raids come up, and we didn't. So there's not much point into comparing our content to theirs. But the skills, however, what I'm trying to prepare here is awakening. Now, since we will be getting the first piece of legendary gear, that is it's not like armor, because armor you can switch out in and out. It doesn't cost a lot. Like, you don't require to have a plus 15 armor for, say, like example. But weapon, you do require to get it as high as possible, and it's not something that you would just swap out, like from you get a new weapon that has a better stats, so you go from 15 to 10. No, I don't think a lot of people would do that. So right now, I looked at the other regions awakening skill, and I don't think they will change much, simply because it doesn't make too much sense. Why would we get a different set of skill or a different set of number on the skills, the multipliers? So I've been waiting for my weapon. As you can see here, I just keep on waiting and waiting and waiting till I get a good weapon that I want. So now a lot of players, like very high level players, still has a lot of questions about what is a good weapon, and they kept asking me. So I might just make a video for everyone to know what would be a good weapon in my mind. So first I will showcase the awakening skill first. This will equivalent to the normal spin that we have right now. So pretty normal, you just spin and then do damage. Now, what I am trying to build here is crit damage and crit rate, and then third would be piercing. These are the orders of how important the stats are. Now, I think you can squeeze in some speed in there too, but it's like very minimal. Like, I don't think it will affect that much. So piercing comes the last, as you can see here. Why? Because if you really think about it, what is the best way to increase your damage? It's critical damage. Like, you start off with let me see, I think it's 125 crit damage or 130, I don't remember. I don't have my game open right now. So, but then if you happen to pull off your crit damage to all the way to 250, so now that's a huge gain. That's a 2 times damage gain. All right, that's 2 times gain. What if you want to build it off of like other stats, like piercing or boss damage? It's hard to stack over 2 times damage, And the importance of critical rate and piercing, it depends. Like, if you have low critical rate, then you will want to have critical rate. There's no point of having crit damage if you don't proc your crit. It just doesn't make sense. But if you have a good amount of critical rate, the next thing you should focus on is building up piercing. So on the weapon, since it's our first legendary weapon, and it will most likely we're not gonna have a new weapon until awakening, like long time after. So you should start building from your weapon right now. Now, when it comes to accessories, I don't know if there will come out a new dungeon that give out accessories, legendary accessories. I don't know that. But what you can do right now is that you just keep on doing the normal stuff, like hard dungeons, and start piling up those fragments. That if the awakening comes first before the accessories dungeon, then you can just make a bunch of accessories and hope that you can have the good stats as I mentioned here. And it's also a good idea that you start building up a stockpile of green crystals. So just in case you don't get the ideal stats you want from all those saved up fragments, you will still have another chance to re-roll it. Now, if the awakening comes first, the accessories, new accessories come first, then you just simply don't exchange the fragments, so you don't have to waste money and everything, and you just go on and farm your new legendary accessories. Now, why I chose to have this type of stats that I think is very ideal. Now, it's not only me that I'm doing it. I talked to some experienced players, and this is the way to go. Now, I know some people play differently. For example, is a voice slash plus dark damage in our current patch. Everyone is free to do whatever they want, but my best interest right now is to clear dungeons as easy as possible, and stats is very important for one of the aspect. Now I'm gonna show why the awakening shifted the stats importance from the piercing plus boss damage to crit damage and crit rate. As you can see here, after 3 stack of spinning, your attack speed goes insane. Like it just go on and on. And then for the passive here, every time you crit, if you double crit, you will have a bleed stack onto the enemy. When it is max stack 5 stacks, it will trigger another skill that can proc a special animation damage. And right now, this skill is to allow you to stay undead, and then your HP will remain at 1 HP only. But by the end of it, you will gain 2000, which is not much. So you have to get a good priest or use some healing pots. Now this skill here is equivalent to our groundbreaking right now in our current stage. But for every 10 stacks, or when the bleed stacks to max, it will trigger a special spinning move that do a massive amount of damage. So as you can see from the passive, that requires double crit, so crit and crit back to back, in order to stack the bleeding. And you want to stack the bleeding as fast as possible, so you can start using that groundbreaking skill. I'm gonna just call it that for right now, because I don't know what it's gonna be called, to trigger a extra damage. So that's basically it. The logic behind why you would want to start building this type of stats that I show you. Good luck to everyone getting the stats you want and getting the plus 15 legendary weapon as soon as possible. Alright, thank you for watching.